Since I'm done with the examples for now, I wanted to continue focusing on what I am able to and would like to create in my stories. Unfortunately, I am nowhere near smart enough to create a fully fledged controlling type of villain, either male or female, which is something I would like to work on and work towards, but unless that truly radically improves, I have to somehow go the direct confrontation route more than the cunning, shady, from behind the scenes, complicated plans kind of a villain, or at least I have to rely on the direct combat confrontation type of a villain more than if my ability to create a villain that's able to deal with situation without relying on physical strength and confrontation was, let's say, higher and better developed. Unfortunately, that's something in the future that might happen if a miracle happens as well. But so far, I'm aware of the issue and I would like to work on it. But for now, I'll have to stick to what I think I am at least somehow able to portray instead of trying and bending over backwards to create this kind of a shadow master manipulator puppeteer that I don't think I have the knowledge and experience to properly flesh out. The problem with the direct confrontation is, in my opinion, that's not exactly worth anything, but I think it pretty much requires that the characters are on somewhat of an equal footing to begin with, not in terms of ability, skills, and wit and effort put into the training, but the predispositions gender sets up from the very beginning. Obviously, it can be interesting when a much weaker character outsmarts or defeats in the end a much stronger opponent through various means, but I wouldn't want that to be decided the moment those characters are born within the setting, within the story, if they are weaker or stronger based on what they are born with. On the other hand, it would be also quite challenging to not end up with just a suite of dude bros, just half of them missing some bits down there, and also there are those consequences that I keep mentioning where the same action should be rewarded or punished facing said consequences regardless of the gender of those characters. This is more of a question for the world setting itself, but I think it's important for the antagonists because if I want female antagonists in my stories, I also want them to start on the same starting line as their male counterparts and as the side characters and protagonists of both genders, so that the differences and heights they are able to achieve or reach are reached based on their own actions, not based on what they were born with, because again, I am barely able to conjure the direct confrontation, and to me, and again, I'm writing for me, it would be boring if it was somehow predestined or decided prior to that fight even happening based just on the fact that one character was born man and the other one was born of women, because that's how it is in our world in terms of physical abilities, at least in general. And I want something different in my different universe, different world, something that would result in equal opportunities but also equal rewards and equal punishments and consequences suffered by those that take those actions, make those decisions, with honestly the goal in my mind being creation of more evil female characters that can without a doubt be called characters and are not in any way hindered by the fact that they are women in terms of the evil they can commit. Same way male characters are never hindered by the fact that they are men in committing all sorts of crimes and atrocities and then facing or not facing, depending on the setting, the consequences of those actions. I want them all to be successful or suffer the ire of the protagonist in the exact same way, while somehow managing the fact that there still should be some obvious differences either in the approach towards some issues and the solutions, the way the characters acquire their skills, and the difference in the way they grow stronger, acquire knowledge. Because I meant it when I said that I don't want to end up with some kind of abominations that lose their identity as women in favor of being able to write strong female characters, antagonists. That's not what I want, but I want to remove that one limitation that I feel there is and somehow work around it. Now, for some more rapid arrows. Last time, Mirek would have won the race and thus was awarded with a flag depicting three flying arrows celebrating his flawless run, and Yarka decides that they will call themselves Rapid Arrows in memory of this run. And the girl, one of those that created this flag, mentions that as long as the flag will be with the rapid arrows with boys like Mirek, there will be peace and happiness. Unfortunately, Dark Riders spot them and, fueled by jealousy, they try to apprehend Rapid Arrows and steal the flag. Arrows attempt to flee, but unfortunately are trapped by an unforeseen barricade and obstacle in their way. And when all seems lost, one of the future members sees what's happening and decides to help. So while he is dousing the Dark Rider's enthusiasm by spraying them with water, the other one rushes down and opens the door that was closed and helps with their escape. They are introduced to the rest of Rapid Arrows as Redcap and Speedy, and thus the legendary club, the Rapid Arrows, is finally in almost full. What they are missing now is a club room, which they do discover a hut that has been abandoned, and they are already planning all the improvements they could do on it and equipment they could bring to make it more homely, but that all to an extent requires money, so they decide to all pitch in with whatever they can, be it taking on some small jobs, selling off portions of stamp collections, or even letting other boys and girls borrow their bike for a small sum of change. When they are finally done counting their earnings. They see some people that arrived from an occupied area that have no idea what they are going to eat, and even though all the money making took them weeks, the boys from the Rapid Arrows Club still decide to give all the money to those in severe need, who are very thankful and also promising that they will pay the boys back in some way or another when they are able to stand on their own feet, which is the pretty much first time we see one of those lessons that do appear in this comic book. They are not exactly a central focus, but they try to appear unobtrusive as a way to show good morals. There obviously were some hints of that during the previous chapters, quote unquote, but this time it was slightly more specific. And well, I'm going to end it here. The previous one was very long, so I'll keep it shorter, and I'll come back to the Rapid Arrows comic books in the next video.